After 2 months of what seems to be the worst metas in Clash Royale history, on top of the introduction of level 16 and heroic cards, Clash Royale has released the February 2026 balance changes, which can be changed before they go live in about a week time, but the current balance changes are incredibly difficult to digest. Now, I just want to take a second to look at some of the different decks we see at the Ultimate Champion level in Clash Royale currently. These are the past 7 days. The win percent and the ratings on these are kind of incredible to look at. These decks are just absolutely disgusting. I can't believe what we're playing against currently. You'll notice a lot of these decks are very brain dead decks that take zero skill to play, and it's unsurprising that these are at the top of Ultimate Champion currently. A lot of these decks are being abused because of the cards that are in them, especially some of these heroic cards. As you can see, a lot of these decks do involve them, and some of the decks that don't involve heroic cards are using cards that are broken evolutions. A lot of these cards need to be nerfed or at least worked on. And of course, what we're seeing with the new balance changes is anything but that. So let's take a peek at some of those balance changes, shall we? We have 4 cards that are being nerfed, 2 cards being buffed, and 1 rework. Now, I'm sure you guys have already seen this. Some of these cards, it makes absolute sense. The 4 cards that are being nerfed needed to be nerfed. They were definitely at the top of the list. Graveyard has been running rampant all throughout ladder and ranked. The 3 Musketeers is a literal win condition in most people's decks. They are just using the cheapest cycle to get back to 3 Musketeers and spamming 3 Musketeers as fast as they can. It's incredibly stupid to play against and very hard to digest that it's even a possibility to do so. The Evo Witch has been a card that's needed a nerf in many months now and has been nerfed so many times, and yet Supercell still does not seem to understand what the problem is with the card. Why it has a healing factor, I'll still never understand, but it has an overheal on top of that. This is something that Invader has been saying for a very long time now. Why the overheal exists, it makes no sense. Just get rid of it. It would probably fix the card entirely, but instead they go with a 7% hit point reduction with a heal per skeleton, so from 60 down to 56. I don't think this is enough. It feels like this entire balance change for February feels like a nothing burger, literal water on a plate. Like, it's absolutely pointless. The cook time for the mini P.E.K.K.A is going from 20 to 22 seconds. Who is sitting there waiting for the mini P.E.K.K.A to cook? You are only waiting for the mini P.E.K.K.A to do damage to gain more levels. That is the problem with the mini P.E.K.K.A. Why we are bringing the cook time up makes no sense. It's a literal slap on the wrist. I would say it's not even a slap on the wrist. It's a blowing on the eyes. Like, it doesn't do anything. Like, that makes no sense, right? Because this makes no sense. The Graveyard is getting a 3.3 tile extension, so it should be spawning in a wider radius. But again, the problem with the Graveyard isn't only the Graveyard. The Graveyard is so good right now because on top of the Graveyard getting a buff, things like the Furnace got a buff. So the Evo Furnace is being used, which the buff was not needed to begin with. And now the Evo Furnace plus the Graveyard is running rampant. It is incredibly difficult to understand what is going on behind the scenes at Supercell with some of these changes because they make no sense. Like, let's not act like they do. The Tornado pull strength has been improved to 200 to 250, a 25% improve with the Hero Wizard. Why? I don't know. It is a 1 elixir ability. Why would you make it any stronger than it already is? If you're going to make it stronger, make it more elixir to use. This is not something we needed. Nobody asked for this. The Wizard's such a niche card anyways. It's not used in many decks, so adding a hero ability to it is only going to make it used more, right? So why you're making the ability stronger makes no sense. It's pointless. Honestly, this was absolutely stupid. I don't understand why Supercell did this. I don't, Heroes just piss me off. Let's just say it as it is. The heal per small kill on the normal P.E.K.K.A, the Evo P.E.K.K.A, got buffed. So from 160 to 168, a 5% buff. Bridge spam is running rampant as well, so I don't understand really why I can understand why they're trying to buff the Evo P.E.K.K.A. It's not used very commonly, but at the same time, with the current meta, it doesn't seem like this was the right time to do so. The Evo P.E.K.K.A is actually a card I've seen more often in ranked than I actually see some of the other cards that actually need nerfs and buffs. So this one was an interesting one. The turret range got a rework technically. The 3.5 tile decrease is now going to make it where I think it can lock onto the tower if your musketeer is locked onto the tower. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to wait and see. But the deploy time is going back from 2 seconds to 1 second, which pisses me off again, because why would you revert this? Like, this is good that you made it 2 seconds to start shooting, so it gives you time to react to the turret. Taking that away makes no sense unless the turret can't lock onto the tower, because that is one of the biggest problems with the turret right now. You could just lock it onto the tower and it was almost impossible to react quick enough to the turret being spawned in, so it would almost always lock onto your tower unless you predicted it. So I don't know. This one is a goofy one to me. If it can't reach the tower, I guess maybe it's okay that it has a 1 second deploy time, but I still feel like it should stay at 2 with the nerf that it got to the tiles. Like, I don't think this should have been a rework. I think this should have just been a nerf. The problem with these heroes, and I've said this once, I'll say it 1,000 times, the heroes should not be dependent on their abilities. Their abilities are a plus, and it's a problem that they have it every single time the hero gets placed down to begin with. They should only be using their ability in very niche situations, but these hero abilities are so strong that even if they are only used in niche situations, they still are too strong. Like, it's incredible how broken the heroes are, and Supercell's doing nothing to change that. Now, I want to really quickly talk about some changes that need to be changed that they decided not to do. So if we slide over, I made a little graphic, nothing crazy, but of some cards that I cannot believe haven't been touched. These ones need to be buffed and nerfed. As you can see, I have different arrows indicating what I was assuming should happen to them. I'm no Royal API artist, so I just did my best. Forgive me if it's not anything too crazy, but the Barbarian Hut, the Rune Giant, both need buffs. Supercell doesn't pay me to do balance changes, so I'm not going to go super far into detail on what I think they should do, but simply fix the cards. I mean, the Barbarian Hut, I think, just needs an improvement to the amount of HP, perhaps. That could probably help fix it a little bit. The Rune Giant, I just don't understand what the point of the Rune Giant is at this point. It came in, it was supposed to make, you know, whatever, third attack or something stronger. It's just an odd card. It's something that they have to work with and develop more, put more into to figure out what the point of it is and kind of go from there. The Boss Bandit got a rework and it's still broken. This card does so much damage, it has so much HP and attacks so quickly, it makes no sense that it's a 6 elixir card, genuinely. If I put this thing down and you told me it was a 6 elixir card, if you didn't tell me how much elixir it was and I was watching everything that it did, I would tell you it was a 9 elixir card, without a doubt. This thing is super busted. I can't believe it still exists. There's people running a Boss Bandit cycle deck in ranked right now, which is incredibly frustrating to deal with. And I cannot believe that they decided to just do a rework last season and not mess with this season. It still needs a nerf. The Evo Goblin Giant is still dead. I don't know why they haven't worked on it. Again, a simple HP buff I think could help this card tremendously. I think the aspect of having, you know, the Spear Goblins on the back and spawning in normal goblins makes sense. I don't think that really needs to be played with, but it just doesn't have a lot of health, I think, so I think that could help, but I don't know. They don't pay me to make these changes. I couldn't tell you. The Evo Pigs, their landing damage is so strong. I'm shocked that they've made it this long without getting nerfed. This is actually, I think, the only evolution in months now. Well, they're not releasing evolutions, so who freaking knows? But for a long time now, every evolution is getting nerfed the month or at least 2 months after its release. And this is the only evolution that I can even think of that hasn't been nerfed since its release. It's a good evolution. I think it's just a little too strong. I don't think they need to nerf this into the ground. Even if they didn't nerf this, you know, I'd still probably complain about it when I'm playing against it. But it's because it's a 2-cycle evolution. It's not the easiest card to put down. It's like not a cycle-y card, if you will. Even with the Archer Queen deck that it's most commonly ran in, it's still not anything crazy. So just nerf the fall damage a little bit, and I think that would be great. The Evo Furnace, I just don't understand why they buffed it to begin with. This card was already perfectly fine before they buffed it, and then they buffed it, and now it's broken. This card was broken. They fixed it. They break it again. It makes no sense. It's just a cycle that they go through every single time with this stupid card. It shouldn't even be in the game to begin with. Let's be honest. The fact that it spawns a fire spirit that will always hit the tower unless you try to defend it, or you have, what, Dagger Duchess or Cannoneer? Like, I don't understand why this card even exists. The Furnace is just such a it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. It gets so much value, and you have to spend so much elixir trying to defend against it unless you just lightning it, rock it. Even throwing a fireball doesn't fully kill it. It still spawns in. I just, I don't understand what they're doing with this card. Revert the buff, or at least revert half of the buff, maybe a little bit more than half, and maybe it'd be okay. I don't know. And then we have the heroes. The hero Ice Golem, I can't believe it didn't get nerfed. They introduced it, it was broken. They said, I love that we're getting $15 per person that buys this card. They are super just, you know, it's not even Supercell. It's super greedy at this point. I don't understand why this card is a 2 elixir use that freezes everything, and it makes absolutely no sense. It can kill an entire skeleton army with its ability and then kill another entire skeleton army with its death damage. How that makes sense, I don't know. The card is broken, no surprise there. They're going to get as much money as they can before they nerf it. Shocker. The Hero Knight. Why does the Hero Knight get both a taunt and a shield? It makes no sense. This is an ability that either you have to make it more elixir, you have to reduce the amount of shield it gets, or the taunt needs to be a smaller radius. The current taunt is half of the freaking screen. I don't understand how it's so big. The Hero Knight is just too strong. Let's just put it that way. The ability is almost always used twice a game, 3 times a game. It's probably the most used ability outside of maybe the Hero Mini P.E.K.K.A, just because the Hero Mini P.E.K.K.A's ability is 1 elixir. And then we have the Hero Giant, an ability that just should not exist entirely. It's an ability that I think the only real way of fixing this is by it just being a random, or the first card that you put down is the one that gets hit. The fact that you can hit the heaviest or the most hit points card that is placed next to it just means that if you put down, say, goblins and a mini P.E.K.K.A, the mini P.E.K.K.A is always going to be chosen, and then you can't kill the giant with just the goblins or skeletons or whatever it might be. I think if this targeted the first card that was put down, or the first card to hit it, it would make a little bit more sense. But the fact that it's a niche use, but I've also seen people lose games because the Hero Giant used its ability once, which was incredible to watch. They literally used the ability one single time, and they completely lost the game because of it, because then you can't stop the Hero Giant. There's almost always an Evo Witch behind it. It's an incredibly stupid and broken hero card. So are all of the hero cards, let's just be honest. But here's 9 more cards that they should have included in this balance changes. The current meta is so stupid and broken and brain dead. The fact that these are the only things that are being changed makes absolutely no sense. It is a nothing burger, like I said. You should be extremely disappointed if you are seeing this. Most people have been. I can't believe this is even happening to begin with, but those are just my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Hopefully they will change their minds and do a little bit more than just this when this update actually gets released in a week's time, but yeah, the hopes are not high for that one. We've seen the track record that Supercell has been on. I think the balance team just is too obsessed with Hog Rider 2.6 and bridge spam to really do much more than this. That's what it seems like at the very least, because it seems like every season those are the 2 decks that always make it into the meta. and I just don't understand how they've been so strong for this long. But hey, what are you gonna do? Supercell just hates making the game even, fair, anything but a pay-to-win game that takes no skill. So here we are. That being said, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.